My husband 25M took off his wedding ring on first day of work 25F. My husband 25M and I, 25F, have been married for 5 months, together for 6 years. He just started a new job, and on his very first day, he took some group selfies with his male colleagues. I noticed something right away. He wasn't wearing his wedding ring in any of those photos. What's confusing is that he left the house that morning with his ring on, and when he came home later, he had it back on his finger. He normally never takes it off, so this really stood out to me. We always wear the wedding rings. We just sometimes take it off for practical reasons at home. Plus, the pictures were taken shortly after he arrived at work, because they wanted to post them online. So, it's not after long hours of work, more like he took it off right before meeting the team. What advice would you give me about this? Edit. No, the job doesn't require him to take off his ring. It's an office job, he's working in a team, and all of them are men besides a woman who seems to be in her mid-30s, if that's relevant. Whatever the reason might be, I'm sure it's related to meeting new people, and not the job itself. Some context for people asking why do I consider this a big enough deal to ask here. He seemed enthusiastic, and so about the marriage, but I found strange that, when he talked with his friends from the previous job, he didn't tell them he got married. He would rather share and brag with them about the new job, and I have no problem with that, but I think getting married is at least as important as getting a new job. And he never mentioned me while talking to them since we got married, probably to avoid calling me his wife. I am too a private person, and I don't share everything with everyone, but I found it a bit strange. My advice is to say, why aren't you wearing your wedding ring in these photos? But you have to say it to him. I don't understand all the hang-ringing. Why wouldn't you just say, hey, I saw the photos from work. Looks like a cool team. What's the deal with your wedding ring? Sorry, that's SUS. It's a move the new guy in that office wants the ladies there to know he's free. First day chatter. Who's the new guy? Is he married? No ring, let's find out more. You buried the lead that he hasn't told his friends that he's married. That's a much bigger issue in my opinion. We've been married 5 years, and my husband doesn't really wear his ring because he's an arborist. He might wear it for a special occasion or a vacation, but mostly it just resides in our room. This doesn't bother me at all because everyone knows we're married. Ask him about it. Wouldn't be surprised if there is a cute colleague that he doesn't want her to know that he is settled already. I, 28F, went through my boyfriend's, 31M, phone and can't unsee what I saw. Contrary to what people normally find on their significant others' phones, his was pretty boring. I found old text threads from women he had dated, a random ex photo here and there. The thing that got me was, I opened his WhatsApp and found messages from a woman he had matched with on Grindr while he was on a trip. So the timeline goes, we went on our first 2 dates. He went on his trip for 2 weeks 3 days after our second date. Had a hookup on that trip, and came back, and we made it exclusive a week later. He had told me recently that he hadn't hooked up or done anything on that trip, but I've come to realize it was a lie. I have no issue about the Grindr thing. I personally think sexuality is a broad spectrum, and sometimes you want. I think I'm more bothered about the lying about it to me, or hiding it. I was super honest about my dating history, or what I was doing while he was on his trip. I genuinely wasn't looking for anything, I'm just nosy. How do I move on from this? Edit. Hi all. Thank you for your very strong opinions and advice. For those confused, we've been together for 6 months and dated for 8, so the hookup happened within the 2 months of not being exclusive. Yes, I understand that it wasn't probably a cis woman, but trans, and that's okay. Trans women are beautiful, and I totally get that. Love the dolls. I know going through his phone was wrong, and it definitely stems from an insecurity I have within myself / past relationships. Our relationship overall has been amazing, truly blissful, and probably one of the best, if not one of healthiest things I've been in. I understand that me going through his phone was an invasion of privacy. I think from my perspective it almost all felt too good to be true, so I was looking for a shoe to drop. This doesn't change how I feel about him. I still love him dearly and think I can move past this. I just was on a loop yesterday. Your boyfriend matched with a woman on Grindr? That's a new one. I genuinely wasn't looking for anything, but you went through half a decade worth of texts. Whatever you need to tell yourself, I guess. Well, not many cis women on Grindr, so my best bet is he hooked up with a trans woman, or maybe a man, and he's afraid to tell you because of how you might react. Just guessing OFC. He lied to you about something while you two were not exclusive. You violated his trust while you were exclusive. Call a spade and move on. Only a month in, and checking his phone? Girl, it's not the right relationship then. You should still be in the infatuation bubble at that point. Going through his phone without permission is as much of a betrayal as him lying to you about a random hookup before you were together. If you want to kick the can, be prepared to also explain why you betrayed his trust when you are supposed to be a thing. I'd recommend to just make peace with it and let it go. If he turns out to be a liar and lies about stuff going forward, sure, but could be 100 reasons why he didn't tell you. Maybe he was embarrassed. Maybe it was his first time. Maybe she was ugly. People really need to grow up and stop going through the other's phone. It's something you do when you're 15, not 30. Today's phone is as private as yesterday's diary/journal. I can't imagine the crap storm of someone snooping through their girlfriend's diary 20 years ago. My 45M, kid's babysitter, 27F, asked me out. I'm a relatively new, about a year and a half, single dad of grade school-age children. I have a regular babysitter for them who takes care of them quite often. There's no regular schedule, so I wouldn't consider her their nanny, but she's around at least once or twice a week. She's previously stayed over at my place when I was traveling for work. I've had a couple women in my life tell me she's flirting with or hitting on me. I, of course, didn't believe them and said no. She just really likes the kids. She's been working for me for a bit more than 6 months. Well, tonight, she proposed we get dinner on an upcoming weekend when the kids will be with their mom. She wants to take me to a restaurant she has a connection to in nearby major city and show me around her old neighborhood. Am I interpreting correctly that sounds very date-like? This seems like a bad idea, but I can't quite say why. Other than potentially losing a steady sitter, what's the worst that could happen? No, don't do it. I'm flattered, but I think you're great with the kids, and I can't risk losing your help. I would not date your kid's babysitter, nor someone who is 27. I am your age. What do you think we have in common with the 27-year-old? You lost her as a sitter either way. Who would stay after being rejected? Enjoy your date. Age gap seems a lot, and I imagine if the date doesn't go well, then you'd potentially need to find a new sitter. If you're cool with both of those, then I say give it a go. Yes, this is a bad idea. The two of you are almost certainly at very different life stages, and she is literally your employee. Let her know politely but firmly that you don't think this is a good idea, and look for women in your own age range and stage of life to date. If you wouldn't date a coworker, don't go to dinner with the sitter. How do I am 39 politely end care of address arrangement with my mum, F58. So I am 39. Agreed to let a mother, F58, use my previous address as a care-off address, not thinking long-term. It has now been 8 years, and across multiple addresses. She has 2 more children, F18, and it is looking like they will also use my address. I am looking at buying a place next year, and do not really want to be a personal post office for 3 people until the end of time. They live on a holiday campsite 50-50 seconds weeks a year, and so have no intention of moving to an actual address. Also, it is important to note that I have previously had bailiffs at my door. Does anyone know of a polite way to end this agreement? When I move, as I don't think I want to be doing this forever? I'm moving, and you'll need to start forwarding mail to your own address. Return to sender. Maybe tell her that since you're planning to move next year, it would be easier for her to get a P.O. box. This way there wouldn't be any change of address lag in her continuing to receive her mail. Tell them to rent a post box and be done with it. Mark every letter returned to sender. Warn them this will happen. Grow a spine and make your wife happy. Mom, I'm a little tired of acting as your private post office. I'm going to need you to stop using my address and make other arrangements. This is perfectly polite and reasonable. If you're expecting her to react badly, that doesn't mean you're not being polite. If I'm guessing, she throws a tantrum, you don't have to sit and listen to her or try to convince her to agree. Give her notice, and then after you move, return any mail you get for her. Just let them know that you are not going to be their address anymore after you move. Give them a chance to arrange something else. If they don't change, mark their mail unknown and be done with it.